excited, John?
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
Get pumped, man.
Oh, I'm pumped.
It's 2017.
I'm aware.
It's 2017. It's a brand new year with a brand new set of games and a brand new... Well, it's the same old Rage Select podcast, but it's brand new year of the same old Rage Select podcast. Doesn't really work when I step my voice
Yes, it is.
down like that. So, hey, everybody, welcome to the brand new year and the same old podcast.
Oh, shit.
I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
Yep. John, are you rested? Are you well rested?
Yeah,
Do you feel
I'm
like you get your winter hibernation on? And
Yeah, I spent a good portion of my winter break sitting at home playing Overwatch.
Yeah.
Fucking Dead Rising and not Dead Rising 4. I was actually playing like Dead Rising 2 off the record and
that's kind of damning there. A new Dead Rising came out in like November, and you're just like, yeah, fuck this. I'm gonna.
Well, I mean, I was replaying Dead Rising 4, but then I kind of went back to. I also played a little bit of Red Dead Revolver. Like I was kind of using it to go back and play some of the stuff.
Sure.
Some older stuff, but I play mostly Overwatch.
Yeah.
Because the winter event.
Oh man, it was hilarious. My folks were in town.
Yeah.
Over Christmas, and I wanted to. My dad's always interested in seeing what the latest video games looks like because that's he doesn't game, he doesn't keep up with it,
Yeah.
and so like I showed him Overwatch, and I was like, this is Overwatch, and I was playing it, and I was just playing the holiday thing, so we were on Kings Road, and he was like, he watched me play for about 5 minutes, and then he was like, okay. What does the next level look like? And I'm like, no. We just play on this one level over and over and over again. And he's like, well, I don't want to just look at this one level over and over. And I was trying to explain to him how, well, it's not really about like different scenery. It's about the gameplay and the dynamics between the different characters.
There's also Hanamura.
Well, yeah, that's true. But we never ended up there. Our team just like whatever it was just kept us there. But then it's like, then I popped in The Last Guardian. I was like, look at this bird dog thing. And he watched for about 5 minutes. He was like, so when do you get out of this like temple? And I was like, well, no, the whole game takes place in this temple with the bird dog. And he's like, okay, what else do you got? And I was like, do you want to see San Francisco? Here's some Watch Dogs too. And he was like, okay.
Okay, when do you get out of San Francisco?
And I showed him about 3 different places in San Francisco. And then he was just like, okay, I'm done looking at video games now. And I was like, oh, I'm so glad you're not my audience, Dad. Jesus.
Lord knows they'd be upset with how much we play Overwatch.
Yeah, well, that's true. I was actually thinking today that we're going to get to it in the news, but that they just dropped, or earlier this week or at some point, they dropped Ilos into the mix.
Yeah.
And I went and I played it a little bit, and I was just like, you know what? I have never... This is why Overwatch ended up as my game of the year last year.
Yeah.
Because I have not, since I stopped playing Counter-Strike, there has not been a multiplayer game that I have, 1, left installed, either on my PC or on my console, and 2, have just from time to time been like, you know what, I got a couple hours to kill, I want to play some multiplayer. Like, that experience is so unpleasant and toxic to me in not toxic, that's an overreaction, but it's not fun for me in Call of Duty, Battlefield, Halo, or Team Fortress 2.
Yeah.
Overwatch continues to be fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, it's just nuts.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just kind of cut through right in the middle.
No,
Do you have anything else
totally
you're talking?
No. I watched a lot of. I started. We watched our Christmas. We watched all of our Christmas movies that we normally watch. Spent time with the dog. Spent time with Amanda. Didn't really do a whole lot. Didn't go anywhere. Didn't go do anything like special or anything.
Yeah.
For Christmas, I got a pair of pants.
Yeah.
That's. It's like I got a pair of pants. I also got like the 80s cartoon TMNT complete series collection.
Okay.
It comes inside of a turtle van.
Nice.
They can actually roll.
All right.
Roll around. So I thought that was kind of cool.
I got like a pack of socks and a bunch of pistachios. I couldn't have been happier. I was just like, hooray!
Yeah.
I needed both of these things in my life.
Yeah, and I also got a replacement case for my tablet, though I'm still using my old one.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, it looks exactly like your old one.
Well, yeah. Well, it's like I'm still using my old one because I decided I'm going to wait until this one completely 100% breaks on me.
Okay.
To switch over because for people who don't know, because they don't. They don't. No one will know unless they've happened to seen it. I actually bought a very special case for my my iPad 2 Air.
It's true. It's got Hello Kitty all over it.
It's meant for recording video. It's got spots to mount it to a tripod.
Yeah.
It's got stuff to put like audio mount, mount like a microphone. It's got stuff for camera lenses, and it's also got like fold-outable like handles so you can like hold it like a steady cam or whatever.
Yep.
It's got a bunch of cool stuff to it. It's for filming and stuff like that. And I purposely bought it for that reason. And the one I've got is it's had some wear and tear.
Sure.
One of the handles is broken off.
Yep.
It's got cracks all over it. So, someone bought me a replacement one.
There you go.
For Christmas. And then
this is too adult, John.
Yeah.
We were both having,
you know what?
like truly adult Christmases.
I got gift cards to Amazon. I immediately, like, as soon as I had them, I was like, all right, I'm blowing both of these cards. Let's go buy stuff on Amazon. I haven't got the stuff I bought on Amazon yet.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to get them next week, and I was kind of hoping to get them before I appeared on the podcast again, so I could be like, oh, man, I got this, and this is my thoughts on it.
Right.
But specifically what I bought is I bought a Steam Link.
Yeah. I want to try that out.
I also bought the Steam controller, and I bought the Bloodborne card game. So I'm supposed to get those sometime next week, and when I get them, I'm going to try them out. So
we'll have to play them.
Yeah.
So I actually got I got a little bit of Christmas cash laying around. I scraped together enough that I think that I could probably get one of the PlayStation VR units. It's just see, I don't know. This is a good segue because that cash could go towards that, but folks, I'm not really a big fan of talking about this stuff on the air, but it's worth noting that Rage Select is maybe not in the greatest shape of all time financially, and whether this is because it's the holidays. I mean, I don't know. See, in the previous holidays, a lot of times we get a spike because people are feeling very generous and they feel like they want to donate more. I don't really know. I mean, like, there's been a lot of
Trump's
stuff.
presidents where everyone's hoarding their money.
That's probably what it is, or they're buying their own PlayStation VR or whatever. But I wanted to just briefly appeal to people in a few different ways. Like, when I try not to be up in people's faces about this, but we are kind of getting to a point where if the trend line for the Patreons of Rage Select kind of continues the way that it has been, which is a gradual kind of up and down, but gradual kind of downslope, we're probably going to run into a situation where it's not even like a oh man, I can't afford to buy caviar anymore. It's like, I can't afford to buy the games to go on the show anymore if we drop too much further. So if you haven't ever been a patron before, and I'm not the people that are hardcore fans, you guys, you've done your diligence, and I'm not trying to ask people. Don't feel the need to
up your pledge. We're not asking for that.
If you want to, that's fine, but I'm not asking for that. What I'm really asking for is the people who haven't ever been a patron or who have canceled their Patreon. I just want to make this very clear. You can give us if like half the people who watch our videos on a regular basis gave us $5 a month, it would be fine. It would be fine to the point where I could afford to start paying you guys again, or at least something, So I did want to ask people, if you haven't ever considered it before, I want to make the actual thing. If you become a patron to Rage Select, like, we don't even set a minimum donation, which is stupid, and I probably should do it.
You should, yeah.
But we sent you a list. It's this enormous list of videos, like full sequentials for a bunch of different games. Fucking, Jason's on there, Grant's on there, John's on there, like a rash with me in Dark Souls.
Can I actually interrupt you real quick just to explain something?
Yeah.
Jeff last week put up a bunch of best of videos.
Yes.
For everybody. And I'm sitting there going, when I saw what he put up for me, which is I figured he would, which is the wrestling one, and then also our super awesome video game show for Godhand.
Godhand, man, that's so fun.
Yeah, because when I saw both, I was like, okay, but where are all the others? Where are all the other guys? I know I played a shit ton of games with Jeff, and they were awesome. There was a bunch of great, and I was like, oh, they're all Patreon.
They're dude. All of Dark Souls 2, all of Bloodborne, all of Dark Souls
Metal
1,
Gear Solid, in which I kept the controller away from Jeff the entire time, and he was just irritated. I could see, like, this couch has indentions in it from places where he was annoyed by the fact that I wouldn't let him have the controller.
Yeah, Dead Space, and that's just, I mean, Grant and I played all the way through Asura's Wrath and Link to the Past, and like, we've got there's a ton of shit on there. So I honestly feel like it's worth the money. But what I would like to ask people is, I feel like there have been a few people over the holidays, and whether it's just whatever, I don't, some people have like become a patron and then they've gotten that list and then they basically cancel their patronage.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I'm not trying to be. I really don't want to be a money hungry jerk about this because I'm not a businessman. I like to play video games. It's just people have actually written into the show and said to me, you need to be more explicit with people when there are financial issues like this because people would want to help. So hey, you know what? We have the Patreon there. If you're already a patron, I'm going to ask. I ask this from time to time, but I'm going to ask in a little bit more forceful fashion. You know, if you could tell somebody who doesn't know about Rage Select, that's a great thing. We always like to have new people come in.
And we've gotten some new people.
And we have. We definitely have. We're getting them. It's a small trickle. It's one of those things where between now and April, we're probably going to be a little bit more hardcore on fundraising because last year there literally wasn't enough money coming in for me to pay my taxes. I'm going to have a tax bill due in April. So I'm probably going to, this is good for people because it means that I'm probably going to try to get 1 or 2 original shirts out between now and April.
Oh.
And then we may even have a fundraiser at some point where people can kick in. So all I'm asking is, you know, if you haven't ever done it and you enjoy the website, I'm not selling blood, but if this trend line continues and we hit April, there is a possibility that I may have to go get a real job and make this like a side project, which means fewer videos and less blah, 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 blah. So tell your friends if you're already a patron. If you're not a patron, maybe consider becoming one. Or, you know, like I said, I'm going to try to get some merch out there to do a little bit of stuff. Or, you know, there's plenty of different ways to do this. And I don't want to be a dick about it. I don't ever want, like, one day I had somebody who canceled their Patreon and they wrote me this long letter about how they felt like I was a jerk or whatever. And I was like, well, I thought about it. And I said, you know, at first I was all internet mad, but then I thought about it. I was like, I don't want, you know, if you don't feel like Rage Select is worth giving money to, that's fine.
Yeah, you don't have to give us money.
That's fine.
But if you like what we're doing and you want us to keep doing it at the rate that we're doing it, maybe consider it.
Maybe. Yeah. And so please consider it. That's my heartfelt thing. And we're actually going to be trying to start up some stuff again in 2016. I also don't really talk a lot about this on the air, but during 2016 I was incredibly depressed. Like for a big chunk of the year, there was a lot of the stuff that I would mention about my personal life. There was a lot of stuff with like car and house and dog and all these expenses and all this bullshit. It just wasn't super good for me. And after the holidays, I feel like I've got a little time to rest. I feel like I'm doing better. I feel like I'm kind of back in the game. So one of the other things that I'm going to try doing is I'm going to start asking through Patreon for volunteers to start doing some kind of like intern work for Rage Select to basically create like small teams that can operate independently to do stuff to help out with the website. And hopefully that will lead to, you know, bringing back of some things and some different features and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that's all to look forward to. I always hate to make concrete promises because if I'm just like, I'm going to do, you know, I think I mentioned in January of last year when we took the puppets out that like, I want to use this time to try to make some shorts. And then I just never really got to it.
No,
and
I remember.
There were people, you know, in like October who are just like, where are those puppet shorts that you said were going to be a thing?
Yeah. And there's some people that said, you know, 2016.
Yeah.
Didn't have puppets.
Is that the reason?
And
Am I the reason?
Look at what happened when there were no puppets. Now puppets are back and things seem to be going good. Jeff, think about that next time. You just think about yourself. You don't think about the rest of the world.
You know,
puppets had been there. Would Donald Trump be president? I don't know.
You know,
maybe.
Hillary Clinton sent me an email asking if Puppet Jeff would endorse her, and I was like, Hill Dog, I'm sorry, I don't usually use the puppets as much anymore. You know, I can. And she was like, oh, well, that's fine. I'm sure that everything will be fine if you don't give me your puppet endorsement. So, yes, I'll take full responsibility. Also, yeah, all the celebrity deaths, that was because
all depression because they didn't have puppet intros to watch.
So, and then as far as that goes, I know that I've mentioned this a few times, but just to lay it out because I feel like we're doing an info dump here. I am planning on keeping the puppet intros and outros in there. What that means, though, and this is what I should have done a long time ago, is that we're changing the schedule up a little bit so that Indie Friday or the one-offs that we put on Friday are now going to be on Wednesday. So basically what that means is we record new games that come out on Tuesday, and it used to be that I would scramble to get those up by Wednesday, and that was one of the big problems with the puppets, was that I was having to stay up until 9 a.m. watching renders and making special effects and stuff. Well, now if I have the day between if I have Tuesday and Wednesday to get everything rendered and up by Thursday, it means that I can have a life and go to sleep when it's not light outside and things like that. So that's going to be a change. I feel like it's a minor change. It's a minor change that does a lot, though. It's a minor change that does a lot for my schedule, and I thought about it a lot when I was thinking about this idea. And what it came down to is, Rage, I've never really tried to make us the first out of the gate. So on Tuesday, fucking Infinite Warfare comes out, and that by Tuesday at midnight we've got 16 videos of Infinite Warfare up, right? We take a little bit of time to put the stuff out there. So anyway, that's that. Info dump over. For the most part, you're basically going to have, that's the main change, is just that the new game videos are going to be out on Thursday and Friday instead of Wednesday and Thursday. And what you get for that is puppet intros with special effects and everything. Did one today where I actually fucked up my schedule and ended up staying up until 8 o'clock in the morning.
No, I know. I'd heard.
The Walking Dead one where I had to recreate the whole Walking Dead dialogue system and everything.
Yeah,
and it just wasn't a good thing. Anyway, enough of this. We have some movie trailers. We have some
excited
gaming news. We've got all kinds of stuff.
It's been so long since I've had news. So I'm excited to talk about it.
What, 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
I guess. Yeah. I was trying to think of how long it's been. Yeah. All right. So first up, we have a trio of horrifying movie trailers. Woo! The first of which is Cult of Chucky. What are your feelings about the Chucky movies, John?
They are what they are.
Yeah.
I don't hate them and I don't love them, so I think sometimes they can be funny, sometimes they're, whatever.
Yeah.
But
I only really remember watching the first and the second one, and then going into where it became Bride of Chucky, and
it's I watched the first and second one, and then I watched the one with what's her name? This was Bride of
Jennifer
Chucky.
Tilly.
Yeah, Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah,
because I have a thing for Jennifer Tilly. So
who doesn't? Jennifer Tilly. It's one of the main reasons to watch Liar Liar.
Yeah.
Apparently in 2017, as I've complained about in 2016, we can't leave anything alone or come up with anything new. So Chucky is back.
And Cult of Chucky, an all new movie.
Yep. Which I think that this trailer is just scenes from the previous movies. Yeah. In all honesty,
with the exception of the opening thing, I think where
they're making the good guy doll. But you know what? I'm fine. I'm still waiting. I got a bone to pick a little bit. I know this is shocking news.
Do you have a bone to pick about something?
Shocking.
I'm shocked.
Okay. So,
shocked.
So if we're having
That's shocking.
So we've got our Marvel Cinematic Universe with all these different films,
yes.
right? We've got our DC Cinematic Universe with all these different films. There was talk of what the G.I. Joe Transformers Mask Cinematic Universe or something like that.
It also incorporates a few other properties that are, I don't think they've come to terms on which specific properties, but yeah, G.I. Joe Mask and G.I. Joe and Mask, ever since Hasbro bought the company that made Mask, or maybe they were the same company, I can't remember, they've already incorporated Mask into G.I. Joe.
Oh, okay.
So toy line wise, the idea.
I was like, what? Was there a movie I didn't?
No. Toy line wise.
I'll be out there to see a fucking...
and also comics wise now as well.
Okay. That actually makes perfect sense, though.
In the comics, they've explained it is that G.I. Joe was around first, then the Transformers came to Earth, and then the government researched the Transformer technology and used that to create Mask.
Oh, okay.
Which is why all their vehicles can transform into other vehicles.
I thought Mask was like one of those independently owned.
It originally was
Mobile Assault Strike Command. Things,
yeah, but I mean they're rejiggering some things.
No, I did it. I'm gonna have the fucking Mask song in my head for the next 6 days. Okay, and then there's the Universal Monster Cinematic Universe, right?
Yeah.
Okay, why can't I get the 80s horror cinematic universe? We had Freddy versus Jason, right? But man, throw some Michael Myers, throw some Leatherface, throw some Chucky in there, let's have a fucking graveyard smash, John.
I think it's because most of them are not owned by the same company. I mean, Jason and Freddy were New Line.
Nah. Boo, I don't care. Bring it back.
Very clearly, Chucky is Universal, whereas...
Does that mean that he's going to be in the Dracula in the Mummy
No.
That would be funny if it's like Dracula, the Wolfman, the creature from the Black Lagoon, and Chucky. Like, also Leprechaun. No, I want all those movies. I want all those 80s movies because I fucking love Freddy versus Jason, and I still need to. Oh man, I need to search around the internet and see. Did they ever release the Ring versus Grudge here in America?
I don't think it was ever released here in the States.
I want to see that. I was talking to Cargill about it. He saw it. I was just like, fuck you. All right, next up, we got a new trailer for Rings, which is
speaking of,
which is kind of a. This trailer is kind of like a 1-2 Freddy's coming for you type of thing.
It is.
Like,
you know what? I'm actually excited for this movie because I like the original Ring movie. Like, not even the Japanese. Like, I love Ringu, the original Japanese movie. I love that.
Yeah.
But I actually really like the American remake of it as well.
It's okay. It's okay. I don't like the fact that I don't like the investigative bullshit.
Yeah.
I've already talked about that.
A lot of it is the same movie, just in the U.S.
It's just because they couldn't have a psychic character, so they had to like have her figure all this shit out in kind of a dumb way.
But. But I didn't really care for the sequel.
Yeah,
Ring 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually kind of like this looks interesting to me.
Yeah, I like I like what I'm seeing here. It seems interesting, and what I like about this is that I maybe it's just been a while since we saw the first trailer, but. Like this seems to be a genuine amount of spooky imagery here, and it seems like they might be doing something a little bit different. And Ring is an interesting property. It's an interesting. It's a good setup, right?
Yeah. Well, it's also because the first movie came out right at the transition from right around the end of the transition to DVD.
Yeah.
Like, so VHS was kind of a thing that was kind of on its way out, but it was still plausible to see people with VHSs.
Right.
And then now we're at a point where VHSs aren't a thing. I mean, they are, but like...
Actually, didn't I read an article last week? This is like the last manufacturer in Japan that was making VHS machines stop making them or something along those lines.
It's like VHS is not really a thing anymore. And DVD is kind of on its way out at this point.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you do? I mean, like, how do you evolve that? And this is doing that in a way, because now it seems to be it's internet viral and...
Oh, man, we should... Whenever we're doing our live stream from now on, we should just intermittently cut the Ring video in
God damn
from time to time and just be like, ha, you watched it. You're going to die now.
Except when Samara looks up, instead of it being Samara's face, it's Puppet Jeff.
It's just Puppet Jeff. No, it'd be Puppet Jason, man.
Jason.
I threw that puppet down a well. You seeking revenge? Your phone rings and he's just like, 7 days, motherfucker. 7 fucking days. All right. But yeah, it's a good setup. I don't know. I mean, but you know what? I just recently watched that Blair Witch movie. And,
well, yeah.
Oh God, it was so terrible. It was boring. It was just it was boring.
I haven't seen it, so
it was boring. But yeah, I'll probably see this. I mean, I would never go see it in like the theater or anything.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'll watch it when it comes out on video. And then last in our trilogy of horrifying trailers to make your skin crawl, it's 50 Shades Darker.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, thanks. I worked long and hard on that transition.
Why did you do that?
Because I fucking sat through 50 Shades of Grey, motherfucker.
Why would you do that?
Because I wanted to see. I had to find out. It's like watching the Ring video. You know you shouldn't, but you do anyway. I had to see how bad it was. Yeah. So I don't know. This trailer is like, this is an extended trailer, and so it's 2 full fucking minutes long.
I have no care. I honestly don't give 2 shits.
But it's like I watched this trailer and I actually know what the first movie was about, and it's like, okay, so we've abandoned all the pretenses of any BDSM, and now it's just like, well, they're in love and they love each other, except there's this creepy girl that keeps showing up and she's like a crazy person. I don't know, the guy's got a thing for doughy brunettes apparently that I don't know. I could care less, but you know what? Having seen the first one, I'm now eventually going to have to watch this movie just to know.
Isn't it also a thing, and I could be wrong here because I don't really give a shit, and it's something I heard offhand and could be just totally made up, that the actual actor and actress hate each other?
Oh, I don't know.
In real life,
it's possible. They have virtually no chemistry.
There was actually apparently a rumor that they weren't gonna do the next movie, the third movie or whatever, because of how much they fucking hate each other.
I don't know. They're both. See, the thing is that neither one of them have any goddamn charisma whatsoever, and I don't know.
Why are we talking about this?
Good question. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about Mass Effect, shall we?
Yes, let's do.
Let's stop talking about 50 Shades of Grey and start talking about Mass Effect Andromeda,
which is 50 Shades of fucking awesome.
CES 2017 trailer.
I guess I don't know. I could be wrong.
I'm gonna do a little nitpicking here. I'm gonna pick a few nits. I was a little disappointed at the beginning of this, and because I haven't been all up in Mass Effect Andromeda's.
You ain't all up in its biz.
I think this is the first time, because this is 2 minutes worth of gameplay footage, and it starts out with this ship, the Tempest.
Yeah.
I don't like how much this thing, how the
looks
shape of it looks like the Normandy, because
it's supposed to. Yeah.
But the Normandy was specific. It was a specific ship for a specific reason.
Yeah.
And I don't like the idea of just being well, all the Mass Effect ships have to look like this. And it doesn't look exactly like it or anything. But I think it would have been nice if they had just, this is a whole different thing. It's a whole different group in a whole different part of the universe.
Yeah.
Make the fucking ship look different.
But also you got to look at it like this, Jeff.
Yeah.
The Normandy was the first of its kind.
Yeah.
It was a specialized ship.
Yep.
And if you make, in all honesty, if you're the military or a government or whatever, and you make a badass ship and it's one of a kind and it's the best ship, if you're gonna make more, you would make more. You don't just make one SR-71 and then go, well, we're done. No more planes in that regard.
I'm sorry, you just said that. It's we make the best ships.
Exactly. You make the best ships. You get the best people to make the ships. There's no better. No better.
I don't know. I just looked at it and I was like, my fear, the fear that I have is the fear that I have. I've been trying to explain this in the last 6 videos that we've done, right? I mentioned it all the fucking time. The fear that I have is that this plays too close to Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, I guarantee you it's gonna.
So, because the problem that I have with games when they do that is that they start to get boring to me. Is that when you make the same game with slight tweaks over and over and over again, it starts to get a little bit boring to me. I feel like you need to, and this was a perfect opportunity to kind of break the mold and do some new stuff, which there is new stuff that we'll talk about in a minute, which is one of the reasons though. But that's why when I look at this thing and I'm just make it a different shape. What the fuck? Who cares? New universe, new protagonist, new ship. Just make it look different. Make it look cool. Anyway, so this is actually, it's funny because this is actually more raw gameplay than I feel like we've seen before, where we're seeing menus and UIs and people running around. And so the vast majority of this 2-minute clip is a fight down on this kind of volcanic planet.
Yeah.
We get to see that it looks like they are keeping all the same classes. But you were telling me that apparently you can mix and match between them?
Well, you can pick abilities between the classes, and I think you can have 3 abilities. The rumors that, or from what apparently people dissecting the menus, you can have a total of 3 abilities from any of the classes equipped at any given time.
Oh yeah,
and then depending on the mission, you can respec.
Yeah,
essentially, and load 3 different abilities.
Yeah, because here it says current loadout, and it's got 3 different abilities.
Yeah,
and then when the main character goes into the where all the classes are listed, it's they seem to have access to all the classes, or there might be a few that are grayed out.
And they've said that this is on purpose. There is a storyline reason on why this character can take abilities from every class. Mm-hmm. Even if it is just a gameplay of, well, people didn't really like playing as one class, then having to play again as a completely different class. So we'll just make it an ability to play all the classes.
I would have been honestly fine in any of the previous Mass Effect games. I think that Mass Effect 3 did away with this, where it was the biggest problem that I had was I like using an assault rifle, and only the soldier class can use an assault rifle.
Yeah.
Later on, I started to get a little bit more into the whole Vanguard thing.
Well, what's funny is that a lot of people are upset because, for the exact opposite reason, is because they want to play as a Vanguard and not use an assault rifle.
Yeah.
And now they feel like they have to use an assault rifle because of the way this game is setting it up.
Well,
they're worried that that's what it's going to mean, is that, well, now I have to play, like, I can't play the game the way I played it originally. I have to play it the way I didn't want to play it before. Again,
shut up, Internet. Fuck off. Use a shotgun and a sidearm and quit fucking complaining. I'm sorry, but just like, nobody's forcing you to use the assault rifle. That'd be like me being like, oh man, I play Dark Souls and I have to use a longsword the entire time. It's like, no, you don't. You can use anything. You can use a weapon that sucks. You can use a weapon that doesn't suck. You can spec for whatever the fuck you want to. You can use a shitty weapon if you want to.
Yeah. I know, but people are saying that it makes the game too easy. It makes the game easier.
Bioware games have always been easy. They're super fucking easy.
I agree with you. I'm just saying with the
I'm
internet.
arguing with you like you're the one saying
It's like, I'm just explaining these things that I've read
on
the internet.
Oh, I just noticed this in this flamethrower menu, how this rank 1, it's like they've got the entire word flamethrower except for the R, and then the R is on line 2.
Yeah, hopefully that's something that's fixed.
Just fix that up. Speaking of which, okay, so I'm going to say pros and cons of the actual little action sequence that we get to see here. I like the. It seems like they've done a lot of work in making this much more of like less of a stilted third-person action game and like more of a fluid action.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I'm seeing here, the character can jump, the character can slide and dodge and do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Like in this little gameplay sequence, the character never once goes into cover.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of it is part of, what is it, they're using the Frost engine now?
Frostbite, yeah.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I don't know. I feel like they could have done that in previous ones, but it wasn't really, I mean, I don't know. They never really seemed to put a huge amount. I guess maybe when they got to Mass Effect 3 and they got to like the multiplayer stuff where you really do need to have some solid like gameplay mechanics because that's going to be what people are going to be experiencing. But this is pretty cool. I don't really like the fact that he's got a flamethrower hand. That seems more of a Dragon Age ability to me.
It does. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. But then again, maybe it will in the story, and maybe it'll be a badass thing.
Maybe.
I don't know if we're going to talk about this right now, but I like the fact that they announced a release date.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, unless you have anything else, we've got the characters that the enemies that the character is fighting are like these kind of robot enemies. And I didn't even notice this, John, but did you see what's up in the sky? It looks just like when the dark sign appears in the sky in Dark Souls 3.
God damn it, Jeff.
Suck it. Release date, which apparently we hadn't had up until now.
No.
March.
Yeah, what the fuck?
March 21st in North America. What the fuck is that's the end of the 2016 fiscal quarter for businesses, right? So they want to get them hot Mass Effect sales on the books before 2016 financials get sorted. But it's nice that although we knew about Mass Effect Andromeda, it hasn't been a hugely drawn out, garbage fire of just release date after it's showing it 4 years ago. And
I don't remember what the original release dates for all of the games were, but I even remember like 2 and I think even 3 were also released in March, around March time.
I think I was talking to is either Amanda or Matt Frank the other day about. I mean, I understand there's a shitload of stuff coming out, and not now, but between January and March, there's actually a fair amount of high-profile stuff coming out. It's because that's the end of the quarter, and then once we get past March, it slows way the fuck down until whatever. I personally think that, I know that the video game industry, I feel like, doesn't want to compete with the movie industry for like summertime bucks or whatever, but I think one of the reasons that I like Overwatch so much was because it did come out like when there wasn't anything else out. And so I wasn't able to, I didn't ignore it because there wasn't something else to take my attention.
Yeah.
So I think that if I've talked to, at length ad nauseum about how I thought that the Hitman episode release dates were brilliant because they always came out on weeks when there wasn't anything else out.
Yeah.
And I think that if most companies had just a little bit more foresight to be like, it's the summer, it's the gaming drought, and gamers are just like, especially right after E3 when we're all fucking hyped up for all the shit that's coming out, it's like, throw me something that's AA, throw me a mid-tier, a middleware game, and I'll fucking jump on it.
Well, I also think it's interesting because there were a few companies that were like, all right, no one's announced a game, we're going to release February.
Right.
And then like a couple of months after that announcement, it's like 6 games suddenly announced they're also coming out in February. And it's like, well, fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of like right now. Let's see. January, as I remember.
January is.
Well, see, I don't know because there is some stuff here outside of that. Flame in the Flood. No, wait, that's that old one. I'm thinking of. God, what's the one with the cats running around?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's like this little indie game. It's like a little cat running around a city. It's like you come home for summer break and there's a mystery afoot. It's on Steam. It's one of those games that like is actually in my new releases on Steam, but you can't actually buy it because it's not actually out yet.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Anyway, we watched a trailer for it a while back. Gravity Rush 2, Resident Evil 7, Yakuza 0.
Yeah, Resident Evil 7 and Yakuza 0 are the big ones at the end of January.
Yeah, and then in February
is
Neo, For Honor, Sniper Elite 4, Halo Wars 2, Horizon Zero Dawn, and then in March we've got...
There's also Persona, isn't it? Persona 5?
No, Persona's in April.
Oh, that's right. They pushed it back to April.
Yeah,
that's right. I forgot. It was originally supposed to come out on Valentine's Day, and they pushed it back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because it was going to have to be they were going to make me have Sophie's choice about For Honor or Persona 5. Which Persona 5 would win that choice, by the way. And then in March, we've got Ghost Recon Wildlands, Nier Automata, and Mass Effect Andromeda, and that's pretty much it. I mean, there's some other stuff, MLB The Show, and some of the Styx Shards of Darkness, but yeah. So anyway, but we do have a release date, so we can all get ready, clear our schedule. March 21st, new Mass Effect.
Yeah. I'm excited.
The closer it gets, the more I'm getting a little bit more excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for new Mass Effect.
My heart is guarded, but I don't, looks pretty good. So,
well, this will be the first game that tells me if they can continue to do the Mass Effect franchise without the doctors. The doctors, yeah.
Yep. Well, I don't know. Also, if EA can fucking stop shooting themselves in the balls. I'm still pissed about Titanfall 2. How the fuck do you put that game up against Battlefield 1? What's wrong with you? All right. Next up, we have a bunch of Blizzard news. As mentioned earlier, Oasis is now live on the PC. It was already on the test server, but it's now live on all platforms.
PC and console?
Yep. Played a little bit of it. Seems like an interesting map. I'm kind of interested to dig into a little bit more.
I watched Amanda play it. I didn't. She wouldn't give me the controller.
Did you see the thing about that guy like flipping the fuck out on Twitter?
No.
Over this, like, I'm not gonna talk too much about it, but it was like I think Grant, some guy online did a screenshot of it, and Grant had posted it on his Twitter where it was like they released this, and I might have been saying Ilos when this was Oasis. Ilos is a different map.
Yeah, Ilos is a completely
that's
different
the
thing.
like Greek map or whatever.
Yeah.
So Oasis, apparently this map is in Iraq or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And this guy apparently, like, when they released this and they announced it on Blizzard's Twitter, was like just freaked the fuck out and was like, fuck you, Blizzard. First Tracer's gay, and now this bullshit, this fucking politically correct and inclusive stuff, and fucking now you're promoting these Middle Eastern blah blah. I mean, just like going full crazy, and ended it with like, if Blizzard doesn't get like shot and blown up, like as the corporate studio doesn't get like assaulted by the end of the year, I'm fucking done with this world or something like that. And then the person promptly deleted their Twitter because somebody. Yeah. But yeah, it was kind of like, I don't
either that or Blizzard got their Twitter banned.
Yeah, one of the two. I just don't. I've gotten to a point now where I just don't understand. Like, I just don't understand. I actually saw, you remember the last podcast we had where we were talking about the Tracer being gay or bisexual thing, and then I did see some backlash against that where people were like trying to get refunds for the game or blah blah blah, and I'm just like, I just don't understand why you're so mad. Like, it doesn't change the gameplay.
It doesn't change the fact you need to get your ass on the payload.
I mean, even
Stop fucking around and get your ass on the goddamn payload.
Yeah, like even the biggest like anti-SJW Gamergate person, it's just like, but it's not even in the game. It's not in the game. It's outside of the game. Like,
I mean, she's not running around going, cheers, love, lesbianism is here.
Right, right.
That's not what she's saying. And she's running around saying the cavalry is here, goddammit. Or if you have the Christmas skin, the holidays are here.
And it, Oasis, like, I wouldn't have known that was in Iraq unless they would have told me specifically. I'm just like, I don't really understand. I mean, there's a part of me that doesn't understand that it's an interesting experiment because Overwatch is a game where like the game itself is so self-contained that nothing in that game should be pissing you off. Nothing outside of like, what Symmetra needs to be, or we're going to get to Roadhog needs to be nerfed, right? Like that could piss you off, right? Or get on the fucking payload. But like, I just don't understand. I just don't understand how you'd be so upset about something that doesn't have anything to do with the game. Like Oasis is a very pretty map. It's got a lot of cool stuff. I just don't. Anyway. So yeah, Oasis is out. Sorry for calling it Ilos a bunch. Roadhog's getting a nerf, which it's weird because that's the title on this article that I'm looking at, but it sounds like more of a fix than a nerf, that he was getting to a place where you could hook people even if you couldn't see them, or like there were a couple places where the hook could be exploited kind of in kind of bullshitty ways, and that's basically what they're doing. Let's see. This is Jeff Goodman on the Overwatch forums says that the change makes it so that Roadhog's hook can't attach to targets that he can't see and will break off if you leave his line of sight and feel more consistent to where the victims get pulled. So that's on PTR right now. Again, I'm just not going to stop because Overwatch is creeping up the list of my favorite games of all time the longer it goes on. Blizzard, I mean, like, I played a little bit of WoW, but I never played it for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
I played StarCraft 2. I beat StarCraft 2. I uninstalled StarCraft 2. I played Diablo 3. I beat Diablo 3. I uninstalled Diablo 3. Overwatch is one of the few games that I've played of Blizzard's for long enough timeline to watch them do updates, change characters, add content to the game. And so far, they've been hands down one of the best companies that I've seen doing that. Like, so, I mean, just the shit that's in the game so far.
It's not that other companies don't. It's just that, they've been doing it really well.
I mean, like, Anna, Sombra, Oasis, and what was the other map that they added?
It was like the Watch Point or...
Oh, no, Eichenwald.
Eichenwald, and then also the 3v3 map.
Maze headquarters or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I could see them wrapping that up into a $10 DLC. Most companies would wrap that up into a $5 to $10 DLC and ask you for money for it. And the fact that they put in 2 fully created characters that fit into the way that the thing works, and a bunch of maps and updates, and I love the way that they added in those new boxes where you get the 9 wins a week gets you 3 additional boxes. Like,
yeah, and they've said that they've got more characters planned down the line, so there's no signs of them stopping this train.
I'm loving it. Speaking of those characters, apparently this is kind of old news.
Old news that also got brought back up just recently.
Yeah, so I think it's a poorly kept secret that the next character to come into Overwatch is going to be Doomfist.
It's one of the rumored characters, yes.
And that Terry Crews is more than likely going to be voicing Doomfist.
Maybe not.
Maybe not?
So there was a big rumor about him going to Blizzard's headquarters for some reason.
Well, he took a picture in front of the
He took a picture in front of the Overwatch thing, but he actually got invited to the event, to the studio. So everyone went, oh, shit, Terry Crews is going to be playing a character. Well, what character would Terry Crews play that we know might become a character? It's got to be Doomfist, right?
Right.
It just works. It's got to be Doomfist.
Yeah.
And it later came out and they said, no, Terry Crews is a fan, and he just wanted to come, and we invited him. Like, it was just like, we're fans of his, he's fans of ours, we invited him over, he's not voicing a character. And then Terry Crews came out recently and goes, they're right, I'm not voicing a character, but you know what? I want to play Doomfist, so you guys start making some noise and tell Blizzard you want me to be the voice of Doomfist.
And in response, Mr. The Rock Johnson basically put his stamp of approval on this. The thing is that one of the things that I love about Blizzard is it's like Blizzard may not have been planning to do this. And they may just be like, fucking shit, guys. Now we got to make Doomfist. We got to get Terry back in here to voice him, because how awesome would it be? Oh my God. If Terry Crews was a character in Overwatch, that'd be my new main. I'd be playing Doomfist for life, y'all. Yeah, that's amazing. I love it. I can't wait. I hope that happens. I want it to be yesterday that it came out, and I want it to be a surprise update that they just spring on us like next week or something. It's just like, hey, everybody, here's Doomfist, and it's Terry Crews. Speaking of stuff that just got jumped, from Blizzard that just got put out, there's a big anniversary. It's 20 years of Diablo, everybody. And actually, it's funny because when I logged into Overwatch today, I got 5 Diablo sprays and a Diablo icon.
Yeah. Every Blizzard game is getting something Diablo related this week.
Cool.
Overwatch got that. World of Warcraft has a secret cow level.
Oh, really?
In World of Warcraft that you can play.
Okay.
And Diablo got this level thing.
Wait, what's in StarCraft?
I don't know, but StarCraft also got something.
Oh, okay.
And then also Heroes of the Storm got something as well.
Hearthstone.
Like
they got a lot of games now.
Yeah, every game under their umbrella, they said every game got some kind of thing.
Okay. And for Diablo 3, they basically have recreated, or there's a portal that takes you back to Tristram with this kind of overlay on the screen to make it look like your characters like Diablo 1. Yeah, it makes it look like old Diablo 1. It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks real Diablo 1-ish. Apparently, they also changed it so you only have 8 directions of movement. The UI has been changed back, and so I don't know. We're probably going to take a look at this, but it may just be because 2016 and 2015, for that matter, that we've had so many just companies doing crappity crap that, man, I really don't mind dragging Blizzard's pants off and tonguing their nards for a little while here, because again, we also are looking forward to the Necromancer getting added back into Diablo 3 for no additional cost. All this stuff is just coming at your face. If you just have, when you count, 3 or 4 games that you have to buy for $60, and they put them on sale all the time, and they just keep giving you stuff, reasons to come back and play it, stuff that doesn't. There's no, I can't see any monetary reason for this to be a thing that would benefit them outside of just hey, we're Blizzard, we've got so much money that we can afford to just be fuck it, make Diablo a thing.
And this update, the anniversary patch, is coming to all consoles, so PS4, Xbox One, I think even Xbox 360 and PS3 maybe. I don't know about those specifically, but I know all the major consoles are getting the patch, because I have friends that are I loaded up my Xbox One for the first time in a while to play Diablo, and
cool,
and I got to playing it, kind of thing.
Yeah. So good on you, Blizzard. That's good for you. So, and that's out now.
Yeah, I kind of wish I had the Xbox One version
of Diablo
3.
What do you have it on?
The last one I had was the pre-expansion Xbox 360, which I think I might have gotten rid of.
You have to, if you want to borrow, I think I have a PlayStation 4 version of it. But all right, next up, we've got some trailers for you. This was kind of out of nowhere. So last week, Arc System Works put out a trailer, or actually this might have been a little bit before that. This is actually the day after Christmas. Put out a trailer for Double Dragon 4.
Yes.
And so this trailer starts with kind of a retro look back at Double Dragon 1, 2, and 3. And these are specifically Double Dragon 1, 2, and 3 on the NES.
Yeah.
Not the arcade versions. And then towards the end, it kind of says, the legend goes on. And we see a little bit of what's going to be Double Dragon 4, which looks like just a full-on throwback. It's not, they haven't updated the sprites, which is a little bit upsetting to me, because Arc System Works is so goddamn good at 2D animation that I would love to see a Double Dragon game. But no, it's there looks like there's some new sprites in here, but it's just a new Double
Dragon 4. I'm excited.
Yeah, and not only that, but it's coming out at the end of January, so
something to look forward to
on PS4 and Steam. Yep. Yeah. So, I don't know. Do you have any strong feelings about Double Dragon?
I like the original Double Dragon. I like my original NES version. I've always really liked it. I also played it on the Game Boy version.
I think I beat 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever beat 3.
Yeah.
And I know that I liked Neon quite a bit too.
Yeah, I remember playing 1 and 2 on the NES, and I love Neon. I fucking love Double Dragon Neon. I thought that game was great. There was another Double Dragon after Neon that was garbage.
Was there?
I think so, yeah. There was one that I thought was oh man, this is going to be cool, and it was just complete fucking garbage.
Okay. Was it one of those ones where they have the fully 3D characters, but it's in the kind of beat 'em up Final Fight style thing.
Yeah. Like the tutorial was the girlfriend that gets beat up and taken, so like you play as her in the tutorial, and then she gets beat up, and then you switch to one of the main characters.
Oh, okay. Jimmy or I wonder if it's going to be Bimmy. Yeah. It's going to be Bimmy in Double Dragon 4. It'd be great. So
but I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I'll totally play it. Like as I said, I hate the fact that after Christmas, even through December a little bit, it just slows so down. It's like I always have to spend the first part of this year just scraping for games because
until the end of January.
Well, fuck, not even that. I mean, like it's gonna be. I mean, we're gonna have some stuff going on, but there's, you know what? There's just never enough games for me. Like,
there's never enough games. Yeah,
there's never enough games for me to have enough games. So, and then last up on this trailer parade, this was a game that was announced and then kind of like disappeared, and now it's back. This is Rhyme. And this is Tequila Works, which, if I'm not mistaken, are they the ones who made the zombie, like side-scrolling zombie things?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
God damn it. I think they are. Game that everybody liked that I didn't really like all that much. Let me see here. Let's pause Diablo. Deadlight. Yeah.
Deadlight. Okay. I actually didn't like Deadlight, but
I didn't like it either. But yeah, there's a trailer that came out last week. This was re-announced. It's going to be coming out for the PS4 and the PC and the Xbox. I think it was going to be a PS4 exclusive for a while when it was first announced. So who knows what exactly happened there. Looks all right. I mean, you know, we got a little guy, a little kid, kind of anime kid walking around in a big open world with some
statues of squirrels, foxes,
like yelling at stuff, and in a game like this, I almost want you to tell me. Like, I almost want the trailer to tell me, all right, this is all well and good, but what's the thing? Like, what's the gameplay mechanic that this is built around? Is it just a third person running around picking stuff up, kind of Zelda-ish type of thing? Is it a platformer? But I don't know. It looks all right. I'm not a huge, like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of Deadlight. It also has a really kind of weird, I kind of get like a Witness vibe off of it with pastels and stuff.
It looks cool to me. Like, I actually, you know, I'm looking at it, I was like, actually looks cool. Looks like it could be fun. Looks like there's puzzles, and you got to figure out how to go to places and do stuff, and there's swimming underwater, and it looked like there was a giant whale and robots and foxes and all sorts of things going on.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm sure when it, you know, it'll come out on a week when there's nothing else out. We'll end up playing like 6 parts of it. All right, so that's all the trailers that we've got. How about a little Nintendo news?
Sure.
So I feel like this is once a year we have to do this news story.
Well, I mean, and also the big Nintendo news isn't going to happen until the 15th. So.
Yeah, well, that was my second one, so we'll just the 13th there's going to be a Treehouse Live, which we've already talked about. They're going to be talking a lot more about the Switch.
Yeah,
looking forward to that. I'm actually really looking forward to a Treehouse because it's like we've finally gotten over the fucking 3DS and Wii U era into this where I can like tell me all about your new console. I really want more information about your new console that's not just a video where it goes every like 25 seconds or whatever. Yeah. But the other news, and I use that word exceptionally loosely this week, is that Nintendo went ahead and re-upped the trademark for Eternal Darkness.
Yes, yes. Which people are assuming means that because there's been rumors that the Switch will have a virtual console for GameCube.
Yeah.
Like that's
I thought they already announced. I thought they straight up announced that was going to be a thing.
They didn't announce it, but it was announced by someone else.
Oh, okay.
Someone else said, "Oh no, it's going to be part of it," and Nintendo has basically we neither can confirm nor deny any rumors. Blah 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 blah.
Okay.
But yeah, so everyone assumes that this was and then shortly after that got leaked, this happened. So everyone's like, "Well, that confirms it."
Right. Okay.
Because this was a GameCube game, and this is going to be one of them.
Okay. Yeah, anybody who thinks that this means there's going to be a new Eternal Darkness game,
I don't think there's going to be a new one. No,
you got another thing coming. In the words.
Yeah, no. If they renewed their copyright for it, it's just to re-release the original.
You know what?
Which I'm okay with.
I would not be surprised if somebody told me that the only reason that they re-up the copyright for it is to just shit on Dennis Dyak's day. Just as like he's just sitting there watching the countdown, and then it's like Google News alert, like fucking Nintendo re. It's like, God damn it, motherfucker! What's that guy even doing? Like he had like what 3 failed Kickstarters for the sequel to Eternal Darkness,
and then like got like.
Oh yeah, he like went after Epic because of.
Well, that was before.
Oh, that was for
Two Human.
One. Oh yeah,
for Two Human, which I like. Two Human.
Yeah,
I mean, it was very repetitive, but I liked that game. I always wanted to see more of it. Because I thought it was a really interesting story or world. It was essentially Ragnarok, and I thought it was very interesting. But whatever. But yeah, he went after them, and then Silicon Knights closed down,
right,
and went out of business because of that.
Yeah,
no, because of the lawsuit with because what is it? The judges ruled that not only did they not owe Silicon Knights and Dennis Dyack anything, but that because of his continued hounding, he owed them money.
Oh. Well, there was also the whole thing about him siphoning money off of X-Men, whatever, for his own projects.
Well, that was
just is not. It's not been a good.
And then and then he joined some other company that launched a Kickstarter, which failed. Then they launched the Kickstarter again, and that one failed. And then something with that company, someone came out, like it broke out that one of their like head guys that was going to be on the new project, that was going to be like the spiritual successor to Eternal Darkness, had like got arrested for child pornography. And then so that company closed down, and then he tried to do another company, and then that one failed, and then just there's been no news since then.
And now he's working at Taco Cabana.
Probably.
Yep. Well, that's a sad story. I'll tell you about another sad story.
Yeah.
You remember last year's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants in Manhattan?
Yeah, I heard that game sucked.
Yeah, it wasn't that good. But guess what? If you haven't played it by now, you will never ever play it.
Unless you happen to have the physical copy.
Unless you happen to have a physical copy. Yeah, I forgot they actually pressed that thing onto discs because it's been delisted on the PlayStation Store, Xbox Store, Amazon, and Steam, as well as other storefronts. Yeah, I don't think there's actually any real. I don't have any like real information about like if they said why.
Probably a rights thing, like the rights for it expired, and
maybe Platinum just doesn't want that shit on their record. Like,
well, I mean, it's very frequent with stuff like that where games have, like, for example, Marvel's Capcom 3. When they did Ultimate Marvel's Capcom 3, it disappeared.
Yeah.
Very shortly, like not too long after that, because of a rights issue.
Yeah.
And then they recently got the rights to put it on the PlayStation 4, so there's that. But
I don't know. Also, if we're looking at disappointment,
let's just get all the disappointment out of our system so that we can continue the year on a.
I swear, nobody's going to be disappointed by this news. Nobody whatsoever. Oh my God! Hold on to your butts, folks, because the Devil's Third multiplayer servers are shut down. Oh no, you can't play Devil's Third multiplayer anymore, John.
Never even owned that game. Wasn't it only like a Wii U game, and it was like hard to find?
Yep. I drove to South Austin to get a copy of it.
Yeah, only like 12 people in all of the United States actually owned that game.
Yep. I actually thought when I played it, Joe and I played it because it came out 2015, like at the end of the year. I actually thought that when I played it, it wasn't. I don't think it was as bad as people were getting all shitty about it, because it was like, it was super over the top. It was like super stupid over the top kind of action.
Yeah.
And it was okay. It's just the development time was too long and the end result was not good enough.
Aren't they like also like remaking that game as like an online MMO for PC or something like that? Like an online
good God,
multiplayer game?
I don't have any idea. I'd never heard that when I look through the news every week.
Yeah, weird. I just remember an interview with what's his name, the guy who was the head of that game.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. All right, so I got a trio of just fun and stuff for the end here, so we can go out on a high note. First up, this is one that I think most people have known about, but so CNN had a special report about hacking where they were talking about hacking and hackers and We live in a world where there's a lot of hacking going on. And unfortunately, the graphic that they used in the background of their story about hacking was the hacking minigame from Fallout 4.
Yep.
I'm looking at a web page with the headline: White House announces retaliation against Russia, sanctions ejecting diplomats, and then below it is basically a picture. Like, the thing is that whoever made this graphic, they didn't pull this off the internet. They had to take a picture of the hacking in the game and then like turn it and like skew it and like put some blur filters on it. It's pretty amazing. So
yeah, no, it is. And did you see what was it?
Yep,
Bethesda's response.
Yep, Bethesda tweeted sneak peek at season 3 of Mr. Robot.
It's just a full frontal of a hacking terminal.
Yep. So that's pretty funny. Next up, I'm sure that somebody's excited about this, but I don't know why. Ariana Grande is going to be in a Final Fantasy game.
Oh, actually, I think she's already in.
Ariana Grande is already in a Final Fantasy game.
Because I saw a thing about it on Kotaku where they actually showed a screenshot of the game. It's like a pixel game.
It's Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, which is one of their phone games, and there's a little pixel. I mean, I'll be honest. Let's see if I can't find the actual little pixel thing. Here it is. It looks pretty. I mean, it's just like a little pixel character.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does Ariana Grande wear like this?
There's a costume where she has like a
little bunny
rabbit,
ears,
bunny ear kind of thing.
Okay.
It's weird.
It's fine. I don't really understand why. Like, there seems
no one understands why. That's the thing, is no one knows, Jeff. Everyone went, why? And Square went, because, and then everyone was like, okay.
I mean, I'm just like, I'm like, oh man, I'm such a fan of Ariana Grande, and I would totally play that Final Fantasy Exvius game on my phone if only they added her into the game. Like, I don't know, it was kind of one of those Venn diagrams, like fans of Final Fantasy, fans of Ariana Grande, and I feel like the sliver in the middle is pretty slim. And last but certainly not least, Hideo Kojima will never stop toying with my emotions, because there is a 63-inch tall version of the what do they call this fucker again? Their studio mascot, the Ludens.
Yeah, Ludens.
The big kind of like space helmet guy that you can buy
for like $2,000.
$2,000. I mean, the motherfucker's 5 feet tall, so that makes sense. But if somebody gave this to me, though, I mean, I'm a little heartbroken that I can't have this. But I think I'd rather have one that can sit on my desk and not one that I had to
tiny Ludens, not.
I mean, the only thing is that I could maybe take it to Kayla's house and make it like stand up to her Jar Jar, because she's got that life-size Jar Jar statue. But yeah. I don't know. It's a pretty nifty statue. I like the design of the character, but I got a lot of. I just got done telling people I need money. I don't have $2,000 to spend on anything, let alone statues. So, and with that, we are going to take a break because it's break time. So
all right,
we'll be back in just a minute with more questions. Stick around. And we're back.
Hey,
it's amazing. It's amazing that we're back. Yes, we're back, and it is time for the questions. Actually, we have not that many questions this week, so
it happens.
We'll see how it goes. mail@rageselect.com is the email address. I actually found that, like, over the Christmas break, I didn't really get a lot of questions. It's probably because there wasn't a podcast to remind people of it. But, yeah, if you want to send your questions in, mail@rageselect.com is the email address. But before we get to our questions, a quick shout-out to one of our members who has had a new addition to his family. And posted a picture on the website of showing his literally like 1 day old child, and then there's Matt and my puppet in the background. I'm like, dude, don't raise your kid on a diet of Rage Select. You don't want their first words to be something about Taco Bell or Lone Star or, like, I don't know, damn it, Sparrowson or something like that. Anyway, all right. Well, this week, our first question comes in from Jose Luis.
Jose.
Who says, "Hello, Jeff and John. What is the worst technical difficulty that you have had to deal with?" For me, it was going to the first screening of Rogue One the Thursday it came out. Apparently, they didn't test the movie before they premiered it, so while it looked fantastic, the dialogue couldn't be heard at all. I can only assume that something was put in the wrong channel, which led to a terrible movie-going experience. I stayed through just to see how it ended, and did eventually see it with perfect sound clarity, thanks to the theater giving rain checks. Thanks for answering my question, Jose Luis. This is a really open-ended question. Like
it could be anything. Like what technical difficulties. I mean, the only one that I can really think of that kind of sucked is when riff tracks, because you know how they do their live riff tracks live. And they do like you go to a theater and you watch it live. You know, they're in Minnesota doing their thing, and then it's broadcasting to whatever theater you're sitting in.
Right.
I happened to go to a theater for when they did the Starship Troopers.
Okay.
The feed cut out.
Oh, the feed of them.
The feed of them cut out.
Oh, okay. So they weren't there in person. They were just like streaming.
Yeah. So Riff Tracks Live. I don't know if you've ever been to it. So what they do is they're in Minnesota and they're in front of a crowd and they're doing live.
Right.
While that's doing, the video is being broadcasted to theaters, movie theaters all across the U.S.
Oh, okay.
Part of Fathom Events. Fathom Events also sometimes does like live concerts. They'll also do things in theaters where you can go watch like the premiere of a TV show or the series finale for fucking Sherlock, or different things like that, or the premiere of Doctor Who, or like they'll have like events where you can go into a movie theater, any movie theater, and that participates in Fathom Event stuff and watch
kind of when Sony was streaming their E3 conference to movie theaters, or stuff like
exactly like that.
Okay.
But yeah, so Riff Tracks does this with their Riff Tracks Live. They've done it for a whole bunch of stuff, like that's how they did when they did their reunion show, the MST3K reunion show. You could go to a theater and you watch it with a bunch of people. And it's a fun experience.
Okay.
It just sucked because this was live. This was not, this was not like a pre-recorded thing. This was, and I actually, if I'm not mistaken, the reason for it is because we had a really bad storm going on outside of the building.
Okay.
And it was just, the storm was causing interference and the feed just dropped and we missed about 35 minutes of the...
Boo! That movie's only like 90 minutes long, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, they usually have like an opening intro thing where they kind of talk up the movie, and maybe they'll do a short, and I think they might have done a short before they did the actual movie.
Oh, okay.
And then they show the movie, and then they'll stop in the middle of the movie and kind of do like a little, let's take a break, let's have a little bit of fun, blah, 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 something stupid, and then they go back into the movie.
Okay.
Kind of thing. And then when the movie's over, they have their own little outro kind of thing. Kind of like the way we do with the podcast in a lot of ways. But, it just sucked because, like, it wasn't their fault, wasn't the theater's fault. It was the weather.
Yeah.
I'm 99.9% sure it was the weather that caused it.
Okay.
And it was a lot of suck.
Oh wait, hold on. There's one other. There was a PS on this email that I didn't actually read.
Oh, good job, Jeff.
Sorry,
I just answered the question stupidly because it's like PS. Don't talk about movie theater shit.
Sorry, man. I haven't podcasted in 2 weeks. I'm rusty. PS
Clown shoes.
Oh, he says sorry about the fight that was caused because of my Batman question from before with you and John. While entertaining at first to listen to, by the end of it, I couldn't help but think, what have I done? What were we fighting about, Batman?
I don't remember.
You and I are fucking, we're doing this like 90% of the time. It's just you and I doing this podcast. I'm like, what the fuck?
Half the time when we argue about shit, we're not really arguing. We kind of are just trying to.
No, see, because I kind of remember.
I don't remember it at all.
I have a vague recollection because it was one of those. For those of you, I'm sure most of y'all know this already, but for those of you who don't, John is an internally mellow individual, and I feel like we were talking something about Batman, and we got to a point where you were starting to get like heated and worked up, but I remember just being like, "Shit, have I touched a nerve or something?"
I don't know.
But
I blocked that shit out mentally. Now you know why I'm so mellow. It's because
or it's not worth remembering.
Yeah.
You didn't go home from there and you're like, that motherfucker Jeff, that fucking piece of shit, I'm gonna get him one of these days.
No, I did. I'm sure I did.
Well, you just say that to my face.
Yeah,
so it's like you
that's the only difference is I say it to your face.
I'm trying to think of when something like this might have happened, but the problem is that I don't put up with technology not doing what I want it to do. Is that like when technology doesn't do what I want it to? Like if I go,
when technology doesn't want to work, Jeff makes it's his bitch.
I worked in computer repair for like a decade, and I'm not.
Went to a theater. The film cut out. He kicked the door down and fixed the film himself.
I just went up there. I put my hands in front of the projector. I did hand puppets. I did all the voices. It was fine. Shadow puppets of
people were entertained.
That's goddamn right. It was just like that episode of Parks and Recreation. I just stood up on stage, and just described the movie from memory, and everybody was started clapping. And no, I mean I don't know. I don't. Like if I'm at a movie and the movie is fucked up, like I'll wait for 5 minutes to see if they catch it. But like it sounds like he's talking about like the entire movie was fucked up. I would have gone out and been like, "Hey man, you need to fix this shit." Like, immediately.
I don't remember what movie it was, but I do remember going to the theater for something at one point, and when the movie started, there was like the audio was like had a delay, like it wasn't synced.
Yeah,
and the audio, like it was like people would be talking, and then like 4 minutes later, the voice would be heard.
Oh right,
and it was like badly out of sync, and like we actually like walked up and like, hey, your movie's out of sync. There's something wrong with it. They actually stopped the movie. And we had to sit around for like 20 minutes for them to fix it, and then they just started the movie from the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, like I wouldn't sit there through Rogue One if I couldn't hear the dialogue.
Yeah.
Of course, it does. I'll tell you what, though. So as not to just completely like not answer your question, it does remind me though of an anecdote that I think I've told before, but I'll tell again. So back in the old days, I like talking about like 2 years ago. I had a friend who is this really kind of contentious guy. We don't really talk that much anymore, but he was really opinionated and kind of a jerk about it. And he played BioShock. This is many years ago. He played the game BioShock. And I was really excited because he had never played it before. And I was like, oh, cool, you get to experience this for the first time. And when he was done, he came to me. He was like, eh. And I was like, what and he was like, well, there was a problem. Like the audio is fucked up, so that the center channel wasn't playing, and I couldn't hear any of the dialogue in the game. But I played the game, and it's a mediocre first-person shooter. I was like, wait a minute, you couldn't hear any of the dialogue? He's like, no, it's too quiet. I'm like, did you turn on subtitles? He's like, I don't like subtitles. Did you fix the problem? He's like, nah, I just played the game. I'm like, well, and to this day, this motherfucker will be like, BioShock, that game sucks. And I'm like, you don't even know. You didn't even hear the story. Like that, the story is important. The story of BioShock is very important. If you play BioShock without hearing any of the audio logs or any of the things, I'm sure that it's...
if you can't hear him say, would you kindly, the fucking... Nothing makes sense.
The reveal. I mean, like, I'm just imagining him watching the scene where Andrew Ryan, your confrontation with Andrew Ryan, and he can't hear anything that Andrew Ryan's saying. And I'm like, why would you not fix this? Why would you not? How could you even get past the first level without fixing it? Like, you're not hearing, I don't know, you're not hearing any of the dialogue from the splicers or what? Yeah. It was infuriating. It was maddening to me because, but this is the same guy who's like, oh yeah, Arkham Asylum, that game is balls. It just fucking sucks. You just do the same thing.
Eat a bag of dicks.
Yeah. Well, but kind of why we're not friends anymore is that we kind of got to one of those breaking points about like, you know what? I'm going to leave you alone to find your own bag of dicks from this point on.
I think I know who you're talking about.
You probably do.
But yeah. So I was also trying to think of like other like not movie theater. Yeah. Like references for this, and the only other time I had technical difficulties was like air travel. Mm-hmm. Airplane travel, coming back from California.
Okay.
1 year was fucking crazy because we got to the airport and there was no, like, we were there and they're like, oh, your flight's been delayed. Okay. All right, that's cool. Oh, hey, why is the flight delayed? Oh, well, there's the pilots, one of the pilots called in sick, and we have to get new pilots who are off duty to come in. Okay, that's cool. It should only be like an hour. Okay, that's fine. An hour goes by. Hour and 30 minutes goes by. Hey, what's going on? Oh yeah, no. So the new pilots came in, but there's a problem with the plane.
Yeah.
So we've got to fix that. Oh, okay. Oh, hey, we're gonna move everybody to this other terminal. Okay, cool. Oh, hey, we can't find the plane. What? You can't find the plane? How can you not find the? It's a giant fucking plane. Well, also this flight's canceled now. Like this is like over. Like we were at the airport for like 12 hours.
Yeah.
Before they said this flight's canceled, we'll have to book you through another.
Fucking 12 hours. Jesus.
And what's fucked up about it is the place that fucking that they sent us to was literally on the opposite side of the airport. I don't know if you've ever been to any of the airports in California. They're fucking huge.
Well, yeah. I mean, Dallas
LAX
is a huge airport.
LAX is fucking huge.
Yeah.
And it was literally on the opposite side of the airport.
Right. Like you had to go get on that train.
And was leaving in like 10 minutes.
Oh, good Lord.
So it was like we had no time. So we had to rush to get over there.
Right.
We had to leave and then go back through checking in our bags and getting scanned. Like we had to actually leave the airport, go to the other side of the airport because there's no way directly from.
Oh, yeah.
Like you had to get all your luggage back and like take it to and then recheck it all in and like it was just.
Sounds pretty bad.
It was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
To the point of that we were worried we were going to miss our connecting flight.
Mm-hmm.
But because like literally we're like we have this connecting flight. It's got like 4 hours in between the two flights, so it's not a big deal.
Right.
And then now we're like we show up 10 minutes before it's supposed to leave.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm sure that there have been times where that shit has happened to me, but then I walk into an airport and I'm immediately angry. I'm just angry from the moment that I walk in until the moment that I walk out. And actually, that's not always been the case. But
here's the weird thing. I used to live in Houston.
Yeah.
I used to live very close to an airport.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that me and my friends would do when we were bored and had no money is we'd go to the airport and just ride the tram.
Oh, okay.
Like ride the tram, just hang out, BS, and just
at the airport.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's just one of the things we would do.
Okay.
But we're just bored.
Yeah.
And until they kicked us out because we have no reason to be there.
Right. They're like, get the fuck out of here, you kids. What the fuck?
But that's one of the things we would do.
Okay. All right. This next question comes in from Tristan, who says, "Praise the Dong Lord in 2017. May he have dearth / the Hogfather claim Trump this year." I don't. Okay. Here's to some more enjoyable games this year from indie devs and AAA publishers that won't send internet commenters into temper tantrums. Now, let's see. Now, what have been your favorite fan works from 2016, and what are you looking forward to in 2017? I like all the imaginative cosplay mashups that we got to see at conventions this year, and I'm looking forward to what we'll see this year, with an honorable mention to the fan-made Ponyborn short coming out. It's a 15 to 20-minute Bloodborne MLP animated short? What? Thanks for taking the time to answer my question. I hope Taco Bell sponsors you soon, Tristan. Okay, I got to find this, John. Well, you want to talk about the things that were your favorite fan things in 2015?
I don't.
You don't have any?
I don't know if I have any.
Okay, I've got some. AM2R was definitely
I never played that.
A big highlight. I like that quite a bit. And as far as fan works go, again, not to keep riding on the same train that I've been since we started, but I love some of the comic / like fan headcanon stuff that's popped up around Overwatch.
Oh yeah, no, okay, yeah, no, I'll give you that.
About
all the Overdad and or Dad Watch, whatever you want to call it. Dad 76.
Yep, I love the whole Dad 76 thing.
Gremlin Diva and. All that stuff is great.
This is so weird. We're looking at this Ponyborn trailer thing right now. It's very strange. I don't watch fucking My Little Pony, so I don't. I mean,
animation looks like My Little Pony, so
yeah. I mean, to me, it just looks like standard Flash animation. Oh, is this supposed to be like the original Bloodborne trailer? Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel like this is the maybe the original. No. Okay. This is weird. This is very, very strange.
Well, it's a trailer. It's not meant to be, a full-on thing. But yeah, it is what it is. It's weird.
It's real weird. It's like PvP. It's like pony-based Bloodborne PvP.
Yeah, I don't know. People do things.
That's a little odd. That's a little strange.
When it actually comes out, Jeff's going to become a brony.
You know what? Here's the thing. I watched the first episode.
I actually watched like the first like 3 or 4 episodes of My Little Pony. It's actually a fun little show.
I could see why people like it. It's not really my thing.
Yeah,
but,
it's not my thing either.
I was like, I don't know. It seems fine. I feel that, like, I don't know. I'm into so much dumb shit. There's so much dumb shit that you like over the course of your life that I'm like, I don't have any place to be passing judgment on somebody else's fandom.
Yeah.
You know, like I fucking.
When I say that Jeff is going to become a brony, I'm not saying that as an insult to bronies. I'm saying, and I'm not even saying it's an insult to Jeff. No, I'm not even saying it as an insult to you. I'm just saying because it's funny.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I don't know. I'm fine with that. I've kind of come to a point where I realize there's a whole bunch of fandom for things that I'm just probably never going to be into. Like, I don't know. I tried watching a little bit of Adventure Time. It just didn't really do all that much for me. I was watching a little JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and it kind of just, it didn't have its hooks into me the way other stuff does. Now, as far as Bloodborne goes, I recently re-downloaded Bloodborne and started playing it again.
Jesus.
And I know, but fucking A, Bloodborne is a good game. I don't know.
I don't argue with that. It's a great game.
So
I actually love Bloodborne. I think it's a great game.
Favorite fan works of 2016. Let's go to what are we looking forward to in 2017. I know that we get this question all the time, but it's good for, we don't have a shitload of things today. I've got the release date up. There's actually, I feel like 2017 is going to be interesting. Like there's a fair amount of stuff that I am interested in.
I'm looking forward to Resident Evil 7.
Yep.
Looking forward to playing For Honor.
You know what I'm really looking forward to? Is if the timeline works, it's very possible that we might see alpha/pre-alpha gameplay of Death Stranding at E3 this year.
Possible.
I'd be really interested to see what actually that game is going to be like, whether it's going to be another kind of action/stealth action game, or if Kojima's going to do something really strange with it.
I know he said that he's trying to not
just make Metal Gear
super long development cycle.
Yeah,
like that was the reason that they went to a studio that basically found someone that would let him take their engine and make tweaks to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was kind of the reason for that, is because he didn't want to spend so much time developing a new engine.
Yeah.
And that he's hoping that the development cycle for it would be a little bit less. So there's a good possibility we could see something.
I'll be honest. So far, I feel like PSVR has been doing pretty well.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm interested in seeing if some more stuff comes out, because you know what? There's actually a fair amount of what I feel really mad right now, because I feel like I should have saved the money that we spent on the DK2 and put it towards one of the actual release things, because like Steam.
Well, you also bought that DK2 years before any of the
yeah.
So
but you go to the PlayStation Store, and I feel like there's a fair amount of stuff there, to try out on the thing.
I really want to play I really want to play fucking Resident Evil 7 on it.
Yeah.
Like I really do.
I would be interested in that as well. Let's see. So this year, this is just the actual GameStop list. So Red Dead 2,
Redemption 2,
yep, Injustice 2.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of excited for Injustice.
Agents of Mayhem is supposed to be out. Well, that's there's the way that this is. Okay, so we're.
Well, no, Agents of Mayhem, they said 2017.
There's not like a direct release date though.
No.
Prey 2. Everything I've seen about Prey 2 seems like it's going to be really interesting. Let's see like a bunch of things on here. So we're just going down the release date list. This is just PlayStation 4, and this is just on GameStop's website. So there's obviously going to be stuff. Spider-Man and God of War. This is all PlayStation stuff. I'll be honest. I am legitimately excited about the Switch. I'm really interested to see if Nintendo manages to, like, if you kind of, it's not really the same thing, but if the Wii U is kind of like their test bed and the Switch is going to be like the full release of what they kind of wanted to do, like I think that they could do some really interesting stuff. It's just mostly going to be the question of how much power can they squeeze out of that Tegra processor.
Yeah, I mean, the two biggest things that I've heard, rumor-wise, that obviously we won't find out until it actually comes out, is that, one, the battery life of the tablet is not very long.
Yeah.
And two, the graphic fidelity of what it is able to do out of the dock is not as good as it is in the dock.
Yeah.
And the dock is also not as good as current consoles. Like, not even talking about PS4 Pro or Xbox One, just regular.
Right.
I've heard that the graphics is not as good as either of those.
Okay.
While in the dock, and if out of the dock it's going to be even less, that's a little bit questionable.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, graphics aren't everything. I've always said that graphics are not. Do I want my games to look good? Yes. Yeah, of course I do. But there's also something to be said that one of the reasons I really like Overwatch is it's cartoony. It's not super realistic. I don't need all my games to be super realistic.
Sure.
Though they are fun when they are. I do enjoy a good game that looks like a real thing that my brain is going, that's not real!
Right.
Stop it, Hideo Kojima! You're fucking with my brain. You're in the uncanny valley. Get out of there! But, that's...
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to that. I'm actually really looking forward to as well. I think E3 this year could be really interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
I want to see. Because of where they are. I'm really excited to see if there's something new from this year. If Miyazaki throws something out, whether that's Otogi 3 or whether it's I think it's supposed to be a new Armored Core.
Yeah,
right?
He said the next thing he's working on is a new Armored Core.
But it's funny because I feel like a lot of the previous Armored Cores to me feel like what I would really like is for it's hard to describe what I'm talking about here. Like, how have you played in the older Kingsfield games or like Shadow Tower or some of the games that they came out with? Okay. Those games feel really clunky. Like they're really clunky to control. Like they're very slow and kind of weird. And it's like at Demon Souls, they really kind of turned a corner towards making a game that has a very kind of a very good feel to it. Almost like when we're talking about the difference between like Mass Effect 2 and the way that Mass Effect Andromeda looks, that it's like making a real effort to make sure that the gameplay mechanics of just moving and action and stuff like that is fun. I'd like to see an Armored Core that was streamlined and interesting in a way that kept me playing it, because the previous Armored Cores they just seemed like really technically demanding, and then the environments always seemed like they were very like sparse and kind of not super populated, and the stories never really hooked as much. So if you can bring kind of some of the stuff that has been learned from the Soul series about interesting environments and interesting characters and storylines and stuff, and then hook it into the Armored Core series. I'd like to like an Armored Core series. It's just never been a franchise that I've been able to really get my teeth into.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. I'd be excited for more VR stuff this year, Nintendo Switch stuff. Mostly stuff on the horizon. I'd like to see if we're going to see a new Batman game this year, or at least the announcement of a new Batman game this year.
I don't know if we're going to get a new Batman game, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see the announcement of whatever Rocksteady's new DC Universe game is.
Okay.
Because they said that they're done with Batman.
Yeah.
But when asked, it's like, well, when you say you're done with Batman, does that mean you're done with superheroes and you're going to do your own property? And they said, no, we're still doing something with DC. Okay. But we're done with Batman.
Okay.
Now, what that means, could it be a Superman game? Could it be a there was rumored there was going to be a game based on the Flash.
Man, I'd love a Superman game. I'd love for there to be a good Superman game. I love Superman, and I wish that I don't know. I wish there was a good one out there. Anyway, all right, well, let's move on. Our next question is from Cameron, and Cameron says, hello, Raging Jeff and John. First off, happy 2017. I hope you had a great holiday season with the parents. I finally finished the main story in Final Fantasy 15, and while it ended on a sweet note with the final cutscene of the game, it didn't hit me as hard because some of the content was missing throughout the story of the game. For example, without revealing spoilers, something happens to Ignis between the beginning and end of the second boss battle, and for a second I thought I missed something. I actually was talking about this on one of the previous shows. But no, that part of the story was cut out for DLC for the individual characters, so when that event happens, you're left confused as to what happened. Also, the main villain's storyline is never really fleshed out, nor the motivations throughout the game. Now, this content might be available through Kingsglaive movie or the Brotherhood anime series or even the incoming DLC, but the main piece of content, the game, is not complete without those pieces. So the story is fractured. My question is this: what do you think about content that requires you to do a bit of research before playing the game or even seeing the movie, i.e. Rogue One book Catalyst and the Rogue One movie, or even most of the Marvel movies. Thanks for answering, and thanks for doing your best to make gaming great again. And that is from Cameron. So this is kind of a repeat question because I feel like we've talked about this a lot, but I never have a problem.
You've talked about this a lot.
Why don't you talk? Why don't we hear from John?
I haven't played Final Fantasy, so I can't talk about that game.
Yeah, but what we're mainly talking about is a piece of media that requires another piece of content in order to really round it up, in order to really make it a thing.
See, I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of like what have I experienced that, what. I'm trying to think of something where I've had, where I've had stuff that I've played that has other media.
Yeah.
That thing by itself, like for example, Dead Space, the first Dead Space.
Sure.
The first Dead Space is a complete story, beginning to end. However, there's an anime that tells about the events on the Ishimura before the game.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to know any of that stuff.
Nope.
But it's there.
Yep.
Also,
in fact, I would even argue that it's better to play the game without knowing that stuff because it's more it's more tense when you don't know what happened already.
Also, there's a comic book that takes place before the game that takes place on the planet.
Yeah.
That you don't need to. Those other two pieces, you don't. It's like they all stand on their own.
Yeah.
But are all work together. Like that's like I'm trying to think of stuff where there's been like multiple media. I mean, the last thing I can really think, and this is going to date myself so fucking much, Star Wars: Shadows of the Empire.
Okay.
Do you remember this, right?
I never played it because
I'm not just talking about the game, but like Shadows of the Empire as a whole, because Lucasfilm launched this as a major blitz. Like it was a book, it was a fucking video game, it was a comic book, it was I want to say there was also like a like an audio drama, but they weren't all the same thing.
Right.
Like the book was from was basically the story, and then like the video game was from the character of fucking Dash Rendar.
Yeah.
The comic took place after the book and was from the perspective of one of the minor characters. The audio play was only from the perspective like they purposefully like you don't get the full story unless you do everything.
Sure.
But like that's really the only one I can think of off the top of my head where something like that happened. But most cases, most stuff that I've experienced, I'm not like, oh well, if I have to play this, if I'm playing this, oh well, I won't understand that unless I go do this.
I know. I feel like it's a thing that we're starting to see more. That Cameron's examples of both Rogue One and Final Fantasy are good, because I think that what we're starting to see, that we're seeing this more, and that it's starting to become more egregious. Like I actually was watching the guys over at Red Letter Media. They had a Plinkett review for Rogue One, and then they came in and did kind of a response to some of the comments on it. And he was talking about how like a lot of movies that are sequels will give lip service to events that have happened in the past, or like a brief line of dialogue explaining them. And it was actually, you haven't seen it, so I'm going into spoiler territory, but Rogue One makes a lot of assumptions that what a bunch of things are. Like it doesn't explain a lot of some of the concepts, which I feel like it's a little strange, where like, does a movie need to explain the Force, or is the Force such a universal concept to us in pop culture that nobody's going to go see a Star Wars movie and be like, what the fuck is it? What's this Force they're talking about all the time? I don't know what the Force is. But and then in video games, I feel like we've had some stuff where you have like Mass Effect 3 excised that character, the Forerunner guy, right, as pre-order DLC, and he had a quest line, and that quest line actually really contextualizes a lot about the Reapers and like their.
No, you're right.
Like without that, you're actually missing a fair amount of kind of emotional punch about just the backstory of his civilization. It's not necessary, but it really does kind of detract, in the same way that like the thing that he's talking about in Final Fantasy 15 was a thing that I was like, wait, what? Why? How did that happen to this guy? And knowing I didn't even know that they were going to put it in one of the character DLCs, I find that to be frankly disgusting. Like it's just a problem when you have a character that goes from this scene to this scene and something major has happened, and I don't get to see that major thing unless I buy the DLC.
Yeah.
Like that to me is criminal, because it means that you've given me you've sold me an incomplete story.
Yeah. And I mean, the closest I can think of to that is, games like, Capcom, games like Dead Rising 4, where the true ending of the game is locked behind DLC, or what was it, Asura's Wrath, where the actual ending to the game is locked behind DLC.
Yeah.
That's different than what you're talking about, because this is a thing where the content is in the middle of the game.
Yeah,
and it's missing.
That's what's so strange about it, right? Is that it's content. It's not the ending, which we've already seen. It's literally like character development that's been pulled out of the game to be sold to you separately as DLC, and it doesn't sit well with me. I mean, I never even got back to playing Final Fantasy 15. Like I just started to get real mad at it every time that I was playing it, and I don't like that. What, again, not to just keep reiterating the same point over and over again, but I'm gonna. The reason that I get real upset about things like this is not necessarily because if it's just Square Enix did this thing and fine, whatever, I can go on with my life, but it's mostly the fact that I've seen so much critical praise for the game that doesn't point this out, that normalizes this as an acceptable behavior. And I feel like every time that the gamers as a whole just kind of gloss over the fact that fucking BioWare took out a major chunk of their story and made it their dumb day one pre-order DLC bullshit, makes it okay for companies to do that again and again and again in the future. And I just don't want to see that become a regular thing that happens, because when I buy a game, for the most part, I want a beginning, a middle, and end, and whatever. Like, if you want to sell me DLC, that's fine. Lair of the Shadow Broker for Mass Effect 2 was a great DLC. It was completely unnecessary for your enjoyment of Mass Effect 2. You play Mass Effect 2 from start to finish, perfectly good game, judged on its own merits. But, I mean, like, hell, I'll even throw a dig in at Dark Souls 3, where I'm like, it's possible that the DLC, if the second DLC for Dark Souls 3 makes the game like actually cohesively, like I listen to Bonfireside Chat and other Dark Souls like lore content, and there are a lot of people who are very hopeful that the second DLC really ties up a bunch of unanswered questions from the main game and ties the game together. And while I hope that too, because I want that complete experience to be complete, that would be shit. Because it means that your primary game leaves like these 2 or 3 major factions with just dangling plot lines that by the end of the game you just never get any resolution for, and that you have to get the DLC in order to really get resolution. On the other hand, Bloodborne has a beginning, a middle, and end, and the DLC for Bloodborne doesn't so much, like, it just gives you more context. It's like Artorias, right?
Yeah.
In Artorias of the Abyss for Dark Souls 1. It's not necessary for you to have Artorias of the Abyss to understand, because the story is about your character, Gwyn, Lincoln of the Fire. But, on the other hand, this Dark Souls 3 content, if the DLC does tie the game up, I think that's bad. I think it's not something that we should all be like, well, I like the rest of the game, so whatever. I think it's a thing that you should really be upset about, more than fucking character class in Mass Effect, right? I think you should be more upset about the fact that they had that tacked on multiplayer bullshit, that they had that pre-order DLC, that they were nickel and diming you with after you bought the game packs, those rando packs in Mass Effect 3. That to me is more upsetting than, the longer that time goes on, I'm more upset about that than I am about, well, the ending was just to fucking push a red button.
Yeah, if I actually had any, here's the thing, as far as like going back to Mass Effect 3, if I had any problem with Mass Effect 3, it was the fact that if you didn't do the multiplayer, then your ending was worse.
Yes.
Like, it actually affected how you played like how you did in the game.
Yeah.
And that was, to me, bullshit.
Yeah. No, I thought it was total garbage. It's kind of baffling to me that, I mean, I guess there was a lot of outcry over the ending to that, but that a lot of that other stuff got lost in that hate train, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I still think as much as I like Overwatch, I hate the mechanic of buying grab bags of whatever, of rando stuff. You know, I would rather Overwatch just gave me credits when I level up or when I do whatever, rather than have the box mechanic and just let me go buy the things that I want instead. I understand why they're doing that.
Yeah,
but I'm sorry.
No. I was like, I actually like that mechanic, but at the same time, I'm starting to hate it because it, like, especially during the Christmas event,
right?
Like, I went almost, like, how long was the Christmas event? Was it like 3 weeks?
It might have been longer than that. I think it was at least 4. I think it was through all of December.
It was through most of December. It didn't start like at the beginning of December. I think it started like in like a week or two in.
Okay.
But there were like 3 weeks in December, or there was like 4 or 5 weeks in December or whatever. Okay. But anyways, like, I actually went a good chunk of the event not getting any holiday skins or any skins at all.
Yeah.
Like, just getting nothing but sprays and duplicates of items that I had from other, like, I actually was really pissed off.
Right.
Because I must have got, like, I went through 15 loot boxes before I got one skin.
Yeah.
For the holiday thing.
Yeah.
15 fucking loot boxes.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Yep. And I can only imagine as you get closer to having a full set, that
we never got the skin that we really wanted.
Yeah,
and we never had the coins to, or the currency, the credits to buy the skin that we really wanted.
Yeah.
So it was just, we literally just we got all the skins we didn't really care about, and the one skin that we really wanted, we never got.
Yeah.
And so that was a little disappointing. But.
Which, again, as I was saying at the beginning of the program, I find that type of nickel and diming to be somewhat reprehensible. On the other hand, I have not spent a single dollar
I haven't either.
On loot boxes, and they don't affect my enjoyment of the game one little bit.
Yeah,
like, I just don't care.
It was just annoying because we were like, oh my god, that skin's awesome. We want to try to get that, and then and then it was also the fact that literally I'm going. It's like we've opened 10 loot boxes and we haven't gotten a single fucking holiday skin.
I'm just mad that they instituted that change with the 3 free boxes a week after Halloween, because I really wanted a little bunch of the Halloween skins.
I actually don't have any of the Halloween skins,
but
or any of the Olympic skins. I don't have any of those.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Our next question here comes in from Ron. Ron says, Dear Jeff and John, I've been trying to rewatch some animes that I have not seen in a long time. However, at the beginning of each episode, usually within the first 5 minutes, I'm suddenly reminded how the episode ends, and it ruins my experience. I usually don't even want to keep watching the anime after that happens. I was just wondering if you all have experienced this with a video game, namely try to replay a game only to remember how it ends and no longer wish to play. Thanks for answering the question. Keep up the good work, Ron. P.S. If you haven't had this problem with video games, then it'd be cool to hear if you've experienced this with other forms of media, books/TV, etc. P.P.S. Hope I'm a wizard and correctly guessed the co-host. This
he said John?
Yeah, but this was like after I put out the request for like, hey, John and I are recording today.
You are a wizard, sir.
You are.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Oh, you're a wizard, Ronnie. So, okay, let's start at the very beginning. Have you ever experienced with a video game, you start playing the game and you remember how it ends and then you're just like, fuck it, I don't want to play this anymore? Me neither, because video games are interactive. So,
well, I'll even go as far as to say TV shows or movies. No.
Yeah.
Because I don't mind if I know how something ends, I don't mind if I want to watch it again.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Yep.
Then why would I, I don't.
There's enjoyment to be had, or at least for me, there's enjoyment to be had outside of just watching it. Like, I've been hanging out recently with someone who's watching TNG for the first time.
Okay.
And so sometimes we'll sit there and we'll watch like an episode of TNG, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember this episode. This is a really good episode.
Yeah.
And it's actually, I think it's a lot of fun to watch. Is that you know where the episode is going, so you can just think about other stuff whatsoever. And then if you're watching with somebody who's watched it for the first time, then you get to watch them experience it for the first time and like kind of vicariously go, oh shit.
Yeah, well, Amanda's has off and on been watching the original Star Trek.
TOS.
I think she's in season 2 right now, like somewhere in the middle. She's very slowly going through it because she doesn't have a lot of time to actually
watch.
Like
2 years ago she started that shit.
Yeah, unfortunately, her time does not allow her to watch a lot of stuff.
Sure.
And I don't actually always get to watch it with her, but when I do, I actually enjoy watching the original series with her. But to kind of go right now, I randomly decide, like, you know what? I really want to watch The Pretender. I have no idea why, but I want to watch The Pretender. So I busted out my season 1 set the day after New Year, on New Year's Day, actually, and started watching The Pretender.
Mm-hmm.
Because fuck it, why not?
Did you get back on the Chain Gang? Is that
what?
Sorry, that was a Pretenders joke. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
Go on.
TV show, not banned.
No, that's fine.
But no, so I started watching The Pretender again. Watched all of season 1 in like 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in the middle of watching season 2. I have seen that show a million times.
Yeah.
I've watched, like, literally, I think I've watched that series in full once a year since every DVD set came out.
Yeah.
So, like, I know the ending of every episode. I know the only thing that I ever groan about is when because the one thing the show does that annoys me is they do that TV show trope or cliche of zoom in and enhance.
Oh.
To like egregiously bad degrees.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking at this footage from a parking garage camera. Oh, it's like this camera's pointed at a clock-in station across the fucking, all the way on the other side of the parking garage.
Right.
I'm going to zoom in and enhance it so that I can read the writing on one of the on the slips that they use to clock in. From across the, it's like, we don't even have HD cameras that can do that right now. Go fuck yourself.
Yep.
Go fuck yourself, TV show.
Yep.
And I love that show.
Yeah.
I love that show to death, but that shit annoys me. But I get over it. I'm like, grown. Okay, it's scene's over. Let's move on to the fun stuff of Jared making people pay for their crimes and getting justice and revenge.
You're really into this show, man.
It's a good show. I love that show. It's one of my favorite shows. If I have one problem with the show, is it has a problem in that it set up a shit ton of mysteries and only resolved like a handful of them.
Okay.
And then got canceled.
Oh.
And then got picked up by another network.
Okay.
And they released 2 movies that answered a couple of those questions, more questions, but then also asked a bunch of new ones because they thought they were going to be able to do more. And then that network never did anything with it after the 2 movies that they did.
Yeah.
And then it's been in limbo for a long time. And then within the last year or so, I think the original creators got the rights back completely to themselves.
Okay.
And are now just like, fuck it, we're not doing TV. We're gonna reboot the entire franchise as a series of novels.
Okay.
And it's like, all right, cool. I'm not gonna read them. I'm just gonna rewatch the show.
Yeah, I don't know. Also, to me, it helps. There's a couple things that really help me with this particular issue. One is that I don't mind doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, that's true.
I've played through Bloodborne 6 times, and I'm doing it again right now because I fucking like playing Bloodborne. But I've also watched all of Farscape 9 times from start to finish, and I've seen John Wick probably 12.5 times because I don't mind repeating the same action again. I read the whole of the Dune books once every year or two, just all 6 of them from start to finish.
I recently rewatched Dune, both the movie and the sci-fi
series.
Yeah, sci-fi miniseries.
But it also helps to give yourself a little bit more time to forget. If you're watching these animes and you remember how every one of them ends, I'd say go watch 16 other animes, and then for the next 2 or 3 years, then go back to the anime that you were doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's if you just can't stand it. I personally, I love new stuff, but I also like old stuff. I like
nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. So.
It's like putting on a well-worn pair of socks, right? Where I'm just like, ooh, I know I like these.
To the album from your favorite band that they released 10 years ago.
Hell, man, there was a time where I got stuck in a loop a few weeks back where I came home from the bar and I was drunk and I was like, ooh, I want to watch music videos on YouTube. And I had this one music video. This is a song that I really like by this band. And I just watched it on repeat for 45 minutes because I fucking like that song. And I was just sitting here with my headphones on, fucking jamming out and singing along because I fucking like that song. So
yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I can totally get why someone would be like, oh, if I know the ending of it, then why would I bother? Because I know there are people out there that if they'll read a spoiler and they're fuck it, why would I even bother watching that movie? I've been spoiled for it. That I know people who are like that.
Right.
There have been things that I've had that people have talked about the movie to me in such large quantities and amounts that I've never watched it.
Yeah.
Like I know I've never seen Children of Men because I had a friend that was so obsessed with that movie.
Yeah.
Like to the point of that it was like unhealthy.
Yeah.
On how much they were obsessed with that movie. And to the point of that they were like, you need to see it. You need to see it. No, I'm not going to go watch it. I don't really want to watch it. It's not really, it doesn't really seem like it's my thing. I'm sure it's a good movie though. No. You need to go see it. You need to go see it. Oh, it's coming out on Blu-ray soon. You need to buy it and watch it. And then finally I just got pissed off and went, you know what? I am going to buy it and I'm never going to watch it just to spite you. And I did. I bought it. I own it. I've never watched it. It's still in shrink wrap.
I had a friend that was like that with the movie Solaris with George Clooney, the Steven Soderbergh.
Yeah.
Is that Steven Soderbergh? I don't remember.
I don't know.
But yeah, he would not shut up about it. And I was like, yeah, I watched it. It was good. And he's like, oh, it's brilliant. I'm just like, oh, that's maybe a little bit much, but I thought it was okay. And he's just, oh, it's so good. Let's watch it again. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Like, it was actually funny because throughout our I knew this guy was a friend of mine when I was in high school, and we still hang out, you know. So I've known him for 20 years plus.
Yeah.
And last time that we hung out, I went and I picked him up and I brought him to my house and I just watched a bunch of stuff and listened to some music and I played a few games. And then he was leaving. He was like, when do we get to watch the stuff that I want to watch? And I'm just like, that was called my entire teenage years. So you can sit here and you can watch this show that I'm watching, or you can go the fuck home and I don't fucking care which one you do.
I do think it was hilarious that the friend that I did that to, that I was like, I'm gonna buy it on DVD and I'm never gonna watch it just to spite you. Like I didn't see him for like a year or two.
Yeah.
And then I ran into him again. We started hanging out again or whatever, and he came over and he was like, so did you ever end up watching Children of Men? I'm like, fuck no. And he's like, oh, because he knew I bought it. And he's like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. He just thought I was just fucking with him. And then like he saw the DVD on my shelf and pulled it off. And I was like, this is still shrink wrapped. And I'm like, fuck yes it is, because I am that petty.
It is a pretty good movie. I watched it. I thought it was fine. I've never gone back and watched it again.
Oh, I'm sure I'll watch it at some point, but it's just like, I was just like, fuck no. It got so bad at one point because my work, one of my jobs, back when I worked at Blizzard, actually, they had a TV in the break room, where you go to the cafeteria or whatnot, and they would just always be having it on like some cable channel, and someone actually had it on like one of the movie channels, and Children of Men started playing, and I just literally got up and went back to my desk and ate at my desk because I was like, nope, can't watch that movie.
Boy, guys, don't cross John, man. He's serious. All right, we got a couple more games, or we got one more question, and then kind of a little bit of a statement just to cap things off with. So Chelsea writes in to say, Jeff and John, the Christmas gods have smiled upon me. I got a Vita for Christmas.
Nice.
I have Final Fantasy IX and Persona 4 Golden on deck per my boyfriend's recommendation, and I ordered Danganronpa. Any other suggestions? I like everything! Exclamation point. Well, geez, Chelsea, if you like everything, then that's pretty easy.
I don't know what to tell you because I never owned a PS Vita.
All right, well, let's do a little digging.
I'm sure
here.
Jeff could answer some questions.
You know what, my Vita and me, we're not super good friends because.
Like, wasn't there a time where you could actually, can you actually, like, at some point they made it so you could download select PSP portable games on the Vita?
I believe so.
If any of the Valkyria Chronicle portable games are on there, you should totally download those digitally, because Valkyria Chronicles is awesome.
Let's take a look and see if we can get, let's see, Booey, coming soon, by Metascore. Let's see if I can find all. Show me all. God, is it just me, or has Metacritic really gotten hard to use recently?
Never used it.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't know.
Let's see. High scores. Can you give me, is this just Vita? All-time high scores, Vita. Okie dokie. Let's take a look down this list and let me see if I can tell you anything. Persona 4 Golden, definitely you already have it. See, I'm trying to find stuff that's only Vita. Because, we've got Spelunky, but that's, Spelunky's good on any platform.
Get Spelunky.
Guacamelee is good on any platform. Tearaway was one that I feel like it was originally a Vita game, and then they brought it out on the PS4, where it was like the world is all made up of little foldy stuff, and so there was actually some kind of like touchscreen, like draw a thing and cut it out and whatever.
I'm sure whatever Little Big Planet game was on there was pretty fun as well.
Final Fantasy X and X2 Remaster are on the Vita. Let's see. Hotline Miami, Rogue Legacy, Mortal Kombat, Terraria. These are all things, Grim Fandango Remastered, Minecraft. I'm trying to find things. Gravity Rush.
Yeah, Gravity Rush I've always heard is good.
Zero Escape was on there, that Zero Time Dilemma that we played. That could be a fun one. Let's see here. Walking Dead, XCOM, Enemy Unknown. It would be nice to have on there. Severed was on there, which I haven't gotten a chance to play yet. The Metal Gear Solid HD collection is good for everybody. Just get your Metal Gear Solid on. I don't know. See, I have a hard time with my Vita because I don't do a lot of mobile gaming, and I've honestly find the why they put Dragon's Crown out on the Vita? That's weird. Oh, Dragon's Crown. I was thinking of Dragon's Dogma. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck?
I was like, yeah, I think that was originally a Vita game.
No, it was on both.
Yeah, no, I think it was on both, but I think it was originally pitched as a Vita game.
Yeah. I think that it's Persona 4 Dancing All Night if you're into rhythm games that are also Persona games. I couldn't bring myself to spend $50 on Persona 4 Dancing All Night. I'll tell you what I've used my Vita for a lot is no, I've got it.
Jeff knows.
I've got it. What you should use your PlayStation Vita for is PlayStation 3 JRPGs. So, for example, pretty sure, Trails of Cold Steel 2 is available on the Vita. The Trails of Cold Steel and Trails of Cold Steel 2 are both available on the Vita, and it actually is nice on the Vita because with the smaller screen, the PlayStation 3 graphics don't stand out as much. So you're able to basically get it kind of glosses over a little bit of the lower resolution stuff. Actually, I can probably get you a better. Okay, here, let me give you a better option. There was a game that Brian and I played that I always felt was incredibly overlooked called Lost Dimension, I believe, where it was like a bunch of psychic kids wake up in a tower. It's like a JRPG, sort of a JRPG, but it's like a tactical JRPG where it's kind of like the Valkyria Chronicle system where you have a certain amount that you can run, and then each character has a different like gun/power set. But it's really interesting. Yeah. Let me pitch this to you, Chelsea, because did you ever watch Brian and I play this game?
I don't know. Is this the one that he got pissed off and was about like making you had to decide who the traitor was or in the middle of it, and if you chose the wrong person it would like
No, it wasn't necessarily choosing the wrong person. It was that you could decide who you thought the traitor was, but sometimes the interactions between your group would make it so that the rest of your group had a different idea, and then a different person would get.
Yeah.
But as you move up this tower, you have to like sacrifice people, and it's different every time. And there's a different set of dialogue and things that happen. So it actually has a lot of replay value, and it's pretty solid in that respect. But yeah, there's some interesting stuff. I'm just looking at the actual PlayStation Store. But World of Final Fantasy has a PlayStation Vita release, which is one of those things where I was like, oh, that might be a good one to play on there. Yeah. Like, I actually feel like if you're going to be committed to your Vita, that JRPGs are a good investment because you buy one and you can play it for a long period of time, and then you can take it with you and you don't have to find another one. So I'm currently looking at what all is here. Dragon Quest Builders came out on the PS Vita. That's kind of interesting. Oh, My Name is Mayo is out on the PlayStation Vita.
Don't get that.
But yeah, I would say look at the JRPGs that are out on there, and then look at the ones that are out on both that and because I swear to God, if World of Final Fantasy had crossplay, I would still be playing it on my Vita. But they want you to buy it for $60 for the PlayStation 4, and then for $40 on the Vita to have your cross-save compatibility, because only first-party stuff gets cross-save. But there's Super Dimension Neptune versus Sega Hard Girls. I've always heard good stuff about that. What's a Valkyrie Drive Bikuni? Wait,
I have no idea what that is.
Valkyrie Drive, wasn't that like Valkyrie Drive? No, that's Valkyrie Profile. No, wait. That's Valkyria Pro. Fuck, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Anywho, I would highly suggest, if you want to get some stuff that's interesting and different, going and finding some of the JRPGs that are out there. There's actually a fair amount of stuff here. Hatsune Miku. Oh, you can get Galgun. You get Galgun double piece on your Vita. You know who you should talk to? Alex Olikowicz has all of the sexy Japanese game recommendations for your PlayStation Vita.
His ears are probably burning.
They're probably burning right now. Oh, my goodness. Speaking of whatever game this is, looks like it's just boobtastic. Right. Okie dokie. One more. This is our last email for the week. This one says, hey, this is from Matt. Matt says, Jeff and John, I hope your 2017 has started well. I wanted to send this along to you, but need a question for the podcast. So to meet the requirement, what's your favorite color? He's
green.
I don't have one. I like them all.
I like green. Green's my favorite color.
I don't play favorites. Okay, with that done, please, everyone who listens to this podcast, if you do not support these fine people on Patreon, please give today. I'm a small business owner, and I know how much even the little things count. You may hear Jeff talk about Patreon a lot, but this is just me writing in freely. As a fan of Rage Select, saying signing up for Patreon for Rage Select is well worth it. You get hundreds and hundreds of videos, full playthroughs of great games. So I guess my second question is to anyone listening who doesn't support these great people on Patreon, why not? Rage on through 2017, and thanks from your fans in Johnstown, Pennsylvania, Matt. So, I don't know. Thought that's not from me. I'm not Matt. I'm not Matt, John.
And it's not Matt Frank.
It's not Matt Frank. No, I recognize the email address. It's not. He's got a different last name. So,
okay,
just a fan writing in to say that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So with that, we're done.
Yeah.
Yep. That's another first podcast 2017. Wow.
You got too hyped, didn't you?
That wasn't scripted.
Good job.